Adolf Loos was a controversial man of his time, rejecting the Art Nouveau style of the late 19th century and becoming one of the pioneers for modernist architecture. Born and raised in Austria-Hungary in the 1870s, he was the son to a stonemason and heir to the family's masonry business. Loos chose a different direction and chose to attend a technical school, which then led him to the Imperial State Technical College. The college was known for its practical courses, having provided Loos with a partial mechanics course before he switched to building technology. After a brief time with the Austrian army, Loos traveled to the United States, where took interest in Louis Sullivan's Chicago School of Architecture.
Ornament and Crime is an essay that Loos published in 1913 in response to his belief regarding ornamentation. It showcases his thoughts as an architect and the reasons behind his design intentions. At the beginning of his book, Loos refers to the Papuan people as an example of the primitive stage of human development. He draws a parallel between the traditions of tattooing, carvings, and cannibalism from the Papuan culture and architectural ornamentation. He introduces a modern man in his book as a character who represents our present times. The belief is that the modern man would be labeled a degenerate and a criminal if he engaged in practicing Papuan culture in modern society, as some aspects of this culture are no longer viewed as acceptable. Loos argues that ornamentation is a practice that is now regressive and no longer belongs in our modern society. While this is an inappropriate remark by today's standards, he was a product of his time, where tattoos and similar were viewed as unorthodox in the norms of the early 20th century.
Delving further into his book, we note that Loos argued that ornamentation was a waste of labor, resources and time. He stated, "It is a crime against the national economy that it should result in a waste of human labor, money, and material. Time cannot make good this damage." Loos' belief that decorative elements quickly fell out of trend contributed to an expensive cycle of replacement which would hold back cultural progression. Loos could not comprehend the beauty of ornamentation because of the waste it generated. Instead, he believed that beauty is evident in a building's simplicity and functional use.
Loos had many theories and philosophies, but his main three were that ornamentation wastes resources, material authenticity and form follows function. The effort in creating ornamental embellishments requires skilled craftsmen, further increasing production costs. Loos argues that not only is it a waste of time and money, but it also exploits the craftsmen who have little choice in choosing their subject matter. Loos's philosophy holds that ornamentation is a sign of cultural backwardness. It is a remnant past of underdeveloped societies, and architecture should co-evolve alongside the evolving society.
Loos prefers to see natural beauty of authentic materials. He claims that materials should be presented as what they are and not embellished with ornamentation. Ornamentation diminishes the integrity of his interior designs, which in turn reflect his philosophical stance. Roundplan is an architectural concept developed by Loos that emphasizes the three-dimensional organization of a space. Spaces are related to each other both vertically and in volume. Loos broke away with tradition of having uniform rooms and instead developed spaces suited to their purpose. Roundplan rejected ornamentation, emphasizing that a room's beauty comes from its spatial quality rather than decorative elements.
Loos embraced the theory, form follows function, by Louis Sullivan, believing that a building should be determined strictly by its intended purpose. This meant that Loos's buildings were shaped solely in response to their needs, with scale, structure and materials chosen for ideal practicality rather than aesthetic appeal. Loos believed that a significant problem with ornamentation was its lack of timelessness and the tendency to fall out of fashion, and therefore became a waste on many accounts. Loos aimed to create designs that were timeless, while applying form follows function alongside the use of high-quality materials to ensure their longevity.
His first project where we begin to see his unique approach to architecture was with the Café Museum. The project had great emphasis on simplicity, the form right down to the furnishings. Opting for basic bentwood chairs as opposed to the normal Art Nouveau style which came with custom plush furniture, it caused a ripple effect on the design within coffee houses, revolutionizing the way the spaces were seen and used.
Aside from his revolutionary design style and application, Adolf Loos also went on to publish many written texts. Having worked as an editor to an architecture journal, he developed many publications such as On Architecture, Creating Your Home with Style, and his most famous and renowned book, Ornament and Crime.
Loos' house was one of the most famous but also problematic designs of Adolf Loos' career. Constructing of concrete and steel, the main facade includes basic geometric window patterns, which later included copper furnishing as a result of the city officials hating the addition to the historical design of Vienna. Featuring Adolf's roundplan and materialistic authenticity theories, the building was designed for the inhabitants' use and functionality. The building was nicknamed the Viennese house without eyebrows, as all the luxury was concealed within. The ornamentation, found within the interior, featured all the luxury needed with the use of quality natural materials. Loos' house is still a point of discussion as it was a breakthrough for modernism and a physical expression of theoretical practice.
In summary, Loos believed the meaning of architecture lay in serving human needs by creating functional and long-lasting spaces. For him, architecture was not about making an impression through ornamentation but about using spatial design to fulfill a building's purpose. The beauty comes from form follows function, which is expressed through the use of authentic materials, their functionality and the building's design. He perceived architecture as a part of cultural expression that should evolve alongside our ever-changing modern society. He disapproved of being trapped in the regression of our past and expressed that architecture always changes and should not be restricted. It's a creative outlet that should have no limits. Loos's commitment to cultural progress through architecture is evident in his memorable work. His book, Ornament and Crime, revealed him as a critic of tradition, reflecting his moral conviction and providing the explanation to his design choices. The Loos House is a testament to tradition and a reflection on him as a theorist. Both Loos and the building received harsh criticism for rejecting traditional styles. They were seen as outcasts, but despite this pushback, they became symbols of a fresh approach to architecture. Loos's memorable moments of his designs and books highlighted his everlasting advocate for cultural progression.
Loos was an influential theorist and architect that believed in the progression of architecture. He rejected ornamentation because of the waste it generated and that it was from a primitive society. As our society evolves, architecture should co-evolve alongside it. Loos was committed to designing functional spaces with high spatial quality, aligned with form follows function. Loos' theories and designs restrained from tradition, highlighting his commitment to advancing architecture away from its traditional roots.